Welcome to this week's market summary. I'm Talk Stocks with me, and today we are breaking down the key highlights and trends shaping the global markets, from the US large caps to the small caps, the Nasdaq to the Canadian and Nigerian markets, oil, and even Bitcoin. This is your one-stop shop for understanding what's driving the markets and where opportunities may lie. Let's jump in. Before I get into this video, I would like to give a quick disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. The content of my video represents my personal opinions and is provided for informational, educational, and entertainment purposes only. This information is not intended to be legal, financial, or an investment advice. As always, conduct your own research and due diligence before making any financial decisions. Remember, it's your money. Make informed decisions that are right for you. I'll never ask you for money, nor will I provide my phone number or personal email address. If you encounter any suspicious accounts or messages claiming to be me, please report them immediately as fake or scam accounts. I'm going to begin this week's video by reviewing the daily and weekly price action from VOO from the previous week's analysis and establish what we need to see for the market sentiment to return to bullish. Let's get started straight away. I have on screen here the weekly charts for the US large cap market, VOO, which is the Vanguard S&P 500, the price action, and the volume bars. Now, clearly, we can identify a downward trend on the weekly time frame. So, right off the back, we can tell that price is actually stuck in a downward trend. So, what you can see there, when price rallied to this resistance, it started creating a series of lower highs. And this trend line has acted as some form of resistance for the price action. So for us to get back to a bullish sentiment, we want to see the price action break out of this trend, of this downward sloping trend line. When we look at the volume, you can also see that the previous 3 weeks, you can see there have been more selling volume compared to buying volume, especially this volume here, which represents this candle. So that clearly tells you that the predominating force in the market is selling. And until we see volume, buying volume also spike, and also the price action breakthrough from this downtrend, then I think we are still going to continue to experience this bearish sentiment on the VOO asset. Now, when we go to a much finer time frame, which is the daily chart, what I've identified here, and if you remember from my last video, is this pattern, which I identified as the head and shoulder pattern. Straight off the back, in my video, I mentioned that the price action needed to break out from this head for us to ensure that we both enjoy a Santa rally and the price will continue to rally. But what happened in the previous week is that we rallied, but again, we got stuck, and you can see that we ended the week here. And this is still the right shoulder playing out. So going into this week, we either expect for price action to continue to establish this head and shoulder pattern, or we expect the price action to break out and negate this bearish pattern on the chart. I remember I mentioned that if we are confirming this head and shoulder pattern, then we should expect a drawdown, a further drawdown of about 4% from this head neckline. See, so we expect once this right shoulder is confirmed, then we expect a further 4%, and so we expect price. The best scenario is for it to at least, retest this level here. And so that's just what I see on the chart. And now let's get to our last section where I review the different markets and give my sentiment. Let's start with the US large cap stocks tracked by the ETF VOO. The week-to-date performance stands at a positive 0.70%. Year-to-date, VOO has delivered about 27% compared to the previous year's overall 26.32%. The short-term bias on the daily time frame is neutral, while the mid-term outlook on the weekly chart is bullish. Moving on to the Nasdaq, represented by the ETF QQQ, it's recorded a plus 0.91% change for the week, bringing its year-to-date performance at around 28%. This grossly underperforms last year's impressive annual returns of 54.86%. The daily time frame suggests a neutral bias in the short term, while the weekly chart also indicates a neutral bias in the mid-term. US small cap stocks, measured by the performance of VTWO, experienced a weekly gain of 0.25%. Year to date, VTWO has delivered a performance of 12.31%, underperforming last year's overall gain of 17.08%. In the short term, the daily time frame is bearish, and the midterm outlook on the weekly chart is neutral. For Canadian equities represented by the VCN ETF, this week saw a gain of 0.83%. Year to date, VCN has delivered a solid performance of 22.52%, significantly outperforming last year's overall gain of 12.29%. The short-term bias on the daily time frame is bearish, while the midterm outlook on the weekly chart indicates a bullish momentum. Switching to the Nigerian stocks tracked by ASI, the week to date change starts at plus 0.99%. Year to date, ASI has delivered a return of plus 36.59%, which slightly lags last year's overall performance of 45.90%. The short term outlook on the daily chart points to a bullish trend, and the midterm outlook on the weekly chart is neutral, with a potential bullish trend developing. Furthermore, oil commodity, tracked by USO, recorded weekly gains of 1.03%. Year to date, oil prices have moved 10.80%, significantly outperforming last year's overall gain of negative 4.94%. The short-term outlook on the daily chart is neutral. Similarly, the midterm outlook on the weekly chart is also neutral. Finally, Bitcoin, tracked by GBTC, recorded a weekly change of negative 2.08%. Year to date, Bitcoin prices have moved 116.29% compared to last year's overall 317.61%. The short-term outlook on the daily time frame is bearish, while the midterm outlook on the weekly time frame is bullish. Markets across the globe are showing a mixed bag of signals, reflecting the complexity of our current economic landscape. While US large caps and the Canadian market offer midterm bullish opportunities, short-term caution prevails across several sectors, including the small caps and oil. The Nasdaq remains steady but uninspiring, while the Nigerian market hints at a developing bullish trend worth keeping an eye on. Bitcoin's contrasting short-term bearishness and mid-term bullish potential further highlights the importance of timing and strategy. As always, these sentiments are dynamic, so stay informed, stay agile, and align your strategies with your goals. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights next week. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more weekly market updates. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this week's market performance. See you next week in another market summary. Until then, trade wisely and stay informed.